This is one of a series of videos that will help you prepare for your oral assessments in your Arabic 131 course. The subject of this video will be question words in Arabic. So the words that we're going to be reviewing are starting with men. Men. This is the word who. Men. Men. Now it looks like min, which means from. That's a preposition. But min has a kesra underneath the meme. This has a fatha over the meme, right? So this is men, 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 not min, men, 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 not min. It means who, right? So if you want to ask, who is that? You use men, men. Next, we have two words that mean what, but you use them in different circumstances. The second one you use only in the instance of if a verb is coming immediately after it. That word is mada, mada, mada. You use mada immediately preceding verbs. All right. The first one, ma, this is the word what, the question word what, that you use in front of non-verbs. So anything that's not a verb, we're going to cover some examples of that in later on in this video, but ma is the question word that you use in front of non-verbs, and then mada is the question word you use in front of verbs. So our next word is ay, ay, ay. Ay is your interrogative particle or your question word for which, ay, 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 ay. That means which. Your next one is aina, aina, aina. Aina means where. Aina, aina. Aina means where. Mata, mata, mata. Mata means when, and it ends in an alif maksura, which has an alif sound, an a sound. So mata, mata, that means when. Now, when you add a preposition li in front of the mada, I know you've seen mada before. It means what, right? It's the question word we use in front of verbs. But when you add the li preposition in front of it as a prefix, it creates the question word why. Why? Limada, 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 limada. Why? Limada, limada. Our next word is kaifa, kaifa. Kaifa means how. Kaifa, kaifa, kaifa. Our next word is hal. Hal. I know we've told you that is in Arabic is often implied. It's not written. It's implied. It's presumed to be there, but it's not written. But if you want to ask a question word in English, that question word would start with the word is, right? Like, is your name this? Or uh, are you from this city? Remember, the verb is the verb to be in its various forms. Is can mean am in some forms. It can mean are in other forms. It could mean do in other forms, or does, um, right? And if you want to ask a question word that in English would start with any of these words, um, do you like coffee? Uh, does he go to the movies? Right? If you want to ask any of these question words that in English start with one of these forms of the verb to be, is or are or am or do or does, then you want to use this interrogative particle, this question word, hal, 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 and we'll provide some examples or an example in a little bit later. Our next question word is how much? Kam, kam, kam. In Arabic, kam means how much. Kam hada, how much is that? Kam hada, how much is that? Now, these are not exactly question word interrogative particles, but how do you say the word question? Well, you might say su'al, su'al, su'al. I believe this might be a fatha here. Su'al, su'al, su'al is a question. And what about the plural form of that? As'ila, as'ila, as'ila. As'ila are questions. As'ila, as'ila. And those are the words that we were going to cover. Let's do some examples. So where are we? Here we are. So our first question word was men. Men means who? Men. So if you say men hadha, what you're saying, this hadha word here is the demonstrative pronoun this for masculine. So a person that's masculine or a thing that's masculine. So men means who. So you're saying men is this. Who is this? Men hadha, right? The feminine version of hadha, it's the same word, it's this, but it's the feminine version, is hadihi, hadihi, hadihi. So if you wanted to say who is this and you're gesturing to a woman, you would say men hadihi, men hadihi, men hadihi, men hadihi. Who is this? And you're gesturing to a feminine item or thing or person. Now, similarly, we can use, instead of demonstrative pronouns, the word this, we can use subject pronouns, the words he and she, right? So you could say men hua, who is he? Men hua, men hua, who is he? Or you can say, if you're referring to a she, to a female, men here, who is she? Men here, men here. So that's our example of men, which is who. Now, our next example is the question word what. Remember, the first one we covered, ma, is used in front of non-verbs, non-verbs only, ma. So in this case, ma indaka. So this is what do you have, or remember, and is the preposition of belonging to have, but it also means at. It's a preposition, it means at. So ma indaka literally translates as what is implied at you, but in English loosely translates to what do you have, right? If you're talking to a woman, you would actually say ma indaki, ma indaki, right? Ma indaki, ma indaki, ma indaki. What do you have, right? Or what is at you? The next example uses another preposition. This is the preposition be, but this does not have a parallel meaning of belonging. It's just a straight up preposition be. It means with or via, right? So, but this is part of an expression here. Ma biki, what is with you? That's the literal translation. Ma biki, but if you know, but this phrase actually more means what is wrong, right? What is wrong? So mabiki, now you can make it masculine. You could say mabika, mabika, right? What is wrong? That you're talking to a male instead. But this is just a preposition here following the ma, right? Now, it doesn't have to be prepositions of belonging or just standard prepositions. You can also have a noun after ma, right? So here you have ma, and then you have ism. Ism is a noun, it means name, right? Ma ismuki, what is your name, or what is name of yours? Ma ismuki. And then if you were talking to a guy, you would change this kesra to a fatha, and it would be ma ismuka, ma ismuka, right? So that would be what is name of yours, and you're talking to a guy. So remember, ma is, it precedes anything that is not a verb. And remember, the verb is in English, of course, is a verb. The verb to be is a verb. But if it's not written, right, if it's implied, then there's no verb there, right? It's implied. So ma is then followed by a noun or a preposition or an adjective or something else, right? So when do we use mada? Well, we use mada when it's immediately preceding a verb. Here's the example. Mada tashrabin, mada tashrabin. So this is, what are you drinking? Mada tashrabin. If you wanted to make it the masculine form, if you're talking to a guy instead, you get rid of this suffix here, this ending, and you say, Mada tashrab, Mada tashrab, what are you drinking? You're talking to a male here. Mada tashrab, but we're talking to a woman here, so we're going to keep, why is this not? It's not letting me write it back, so we'll have to fix it. So, Mada tashrabin is, what are you drinking? Here is another example, immediately followed by a verb. ماذا تريد? ماذا تريد? ماذا تريد? What do you want? ماذا تريد? What do you want? And of course, if you're talking to a woman, you add the ending, the suffix in, right? ماذا تريدين? ماذا تريدين? What do you want, right? So that's our use of ماذا. What about our question word which, right? Which. So we have here أي. من أي مدينة? From which city? من أي مدينة? What about here? We have في أي ولاية, in which state, like the state of Michigan, the state of Ohio, the state of California. في أي ولاية. And then here, أي ساعة, أي ساعة, this is which hour or what time, essentially. It loosely translates to أي ساعة is like which, it means which hour, literally. Um, Next, you have أين. أين is where. أين تذهبين? Where are you going? If you're talking to a male, you get rid of this ending here. You'd say أين تذهب? أين تذهب? Where are you going? And then you might have heard this before. من أين أنت? من أين أنت? From where are you? And our are here, our to be verb is implied, so it's not written. So min is from, aina is where, anta or anti is you, and we're saying from where are you? In Arabic we say from where are you, but in English we say where are you from, right? Min aina anta or min aina anti. Now our next word is mata. Mata means when. Mata turid an tadhab? When do you want to go? When you see this an, this means that. This preposition an followed by a verb, then that's an infinitive. It means to do something. Like to, in this case, it's to go, right? Could be something else, whatever, depending upon what verb you have there. But this could be mata turidin an tadhabin if you're talking to a woman. So when do you want to go? And then the other example here is meta hua. When is it? When is it? Is implied here. It's not written. When is it? Limada. Limada, remember, means why. Limada turiduha. Limada turiduha. Why do you want her? Limada turiduha. And then this next one is why again. Limada anti tohibunuhu. I'm sorry, تحبينه. لماذا أنت تحبينه? Why do you love him? Why do you love him? Next one is kaifa, which is how, right? Kaifa haluka, or kaifa, in this case, it's kaifa haluki. How is condition of yours, which is like, what's up? How are you doing? Kaifa haluki is talking to a woman. Kaifa haluka with a fata would be talking to a man. Kaifa turid kahwataka. That's how do you like or want your coffee? Kaifa turid kahwataka, or if it was a woman, kaifa turidin kahwata ki, right? Next is hal. Hal anta bikhair. Are you well or with goodness? You could change this to a kesra. Hal anti bikhair. Are you feminine with goodness? And then here's a question word with hal again, which means do or is or are or am. So hal turidin halib. Do you want milk? Um, Next one is kam, which is how much. كم من المال? How much of the money لديك do you have or at you? كم من المال لديك? And then كم الساعة? كم الساعة is how, what time is it, or how much is the hour? Next we have our question word سؤال, which is a question. يا أستاذ عندي سؤال. Hey, professor, I have a question. Tafaddali is talking to the woman. Go ahead, right? And then here we have as'ila. Hal ladaykum as'ila? Does at you all, or do you all have questions? And then min fadlika or min fadliki means please. You could also hear someone say marathania min fadlika, that's please repeat, or a second time please. And you might hear hal min al mumkin an adhab ila, is it of a possibility to go to al-hammam, the bathroom, for example. Or instead, someone might say an idhnaka or an idhnaki, which means please or may I have position about your permission.